Good morning. I'm coming to you from my deck again, but we are watching the sunrise this morning. It's an exciting morning in our household, and I have to leave early to go to Frankfurt because my daughter is going to become an independent driver probably in a couple of hours. Big changes in the homestead. Um, anyway, very exciting. Her and her dad went out practicing last night. Um, so, anyway, it is a beautiful morning here in the bluegrass, which doesn't look so blue this morning. Well, actually, it kind of has some hues. A lot of dew on the ground, 70 degrees, gorgeous. And we started the New Testament this morning. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we're having to play some catch up because I changed my reading plan, that was given to me a little bit because I wanted to I wanted to really go slowly through the minor prophets, and which are not minor. They are not minor, called the minor prophets because they are minor, but because their books are shorter. But anyway, but still worth taking the time with. Okay, so we're in Matthew, and I read Matthew chapters 1 through 7 this morning. And, of course, Matthew starts off with giving the account of Jesus's birth, the Virgin Mary, the virgin birth, going up to be tested, or temptations with Satan, the first disciples, the Beatitudes, and then the teaching of the law. And there are several sections with the teaching of the law and teaching the essence of the law. So he didn't come to abolish the law, but he actually came to fulfill its purpose and to teach us, get to the heart of the matter, the spirit of the matter. Like, what is really behind all of these? Y'all don't get it. Y'all don't get it. So that's why he came to teach us. Which, even as I'm reading this, I'm going to focus on the golden rule, because even people that don't read the Bible, don't know about God, they know the golden rule. It's one of those things that's just out there in the common vernacular. And the golden rule: do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And this is the essence of all that is taught in the law and the prophets. Right there. It's like what we need to know. If you do this, but that's hard. In the very next explanation, the narrow gate comes. The gate is narrow. And not only that, sometimes when I hear the gate is narrow, I think, oh, but once I find the gate and get through the gate, then I'm just in an open field and I can just run around and play. No, it goes on to say the road is difficult and only a few find it. So not only is the gate narrow and hard to find and get through, but then once you get through it, the road is difficult and hard to find. So hence a lifelong journey. There are so many paradoxes in here. I don't even know where to start, because even in the section of do not judge others, because, the whole plank in your own eye. But then it says also, don't waste what is holy on people who are unholy, and don't throw your pearls to pigs. Well, that sounds pretty judgmental. I mean, do I even have to? So basically, it's like, maybe you can't help but judge, or maybe it's not even a judgment as far as the heart of the matter, but you're actually just seeing things for what it is. Like, it's a fact. Like, this person is clearly doing this, and the fruit is bad. We get that in the tree and the fruit example. So all of this is so really I'm focusing on chapter 7. In chapter 7, the tree and the fruit. A bad tree cannot produce good fruit. A good tree cannot produce bad fruit. So it's all about what's in here. And a lot of us, and we talked about this throughout the Old Testament, we're out there doing and trying to make it look pretty, putting makeup on the outside. And really, beauty is an internal job, and a beautiful life and a good life is an internal job. I think about the thought that, and the analogy that came to my mind was water. Like whatever's in here is going to come out there. Like if I'm an orange, or even a liquid, let's say, if I'm an orange, I'm going to produce orange juice. Like it's what is in here comes out. And a lot of us try to fix the outside, hoping that it will change the inside. But we've got to be really careful. And sometimes that can work, like with God's word. I'm reading it, it's on the outside. I'm reading it, meditating it, taking it in so that it can change me on the inside. So I've got to be really careful what I consume and make sure that my foundation is solid. That is the end of chapter 7, building a solid foundation. Because if I'm looking for a foundation in my role as a mom, my role as a wife, my role as, a realtor or a coach, like in my career, in how much money I have, and my role in the community, my status, all of that's outside. And even how I serve in those capacities, it flows from the inside. But a lot of us are good at pretending, being one thing out there, putting a mask on, a persona, and then being a totally different, and we're different wherever we go. And we can just be chameleons and just be whatever the situation needs. And this is saying, don't do that. You need to be consistent wherever you go. And even when you're doing good, do good in private. Like, don't go around going, hey, I just donated, blah, blah, blah. And now that we're on social media too, and I'm even guilty of this, where a couple of times I've wanted to donate to something and I share it and ask for other donations. But my donation shows. And, is that a little showy? Am I violating a law here, or the essence of something? So the golden rule, when you, as I'm understanding more and more about the spirit of things, and even what we talked about yet a couple of days ago in Zechariah, even the ability of energy just goes out in the world. And if that sounds weird to you, like if you're watching me instantaneously miles and miles away, that's not weird. We would turn on our TVs, there's a signal there. So things go, energy is going through the air. We humans are pretty powerful. And when we send energy out into the world, we're likely to get that energy back. And so that's why we really want to be careful and really follow this golden rule, because we don't want that negative energy on ourselves. We want to get along with people. We want to be sending love out into the world so that we can receive love. Love is a powerful force, and God is a God of love. But if we're going around just being judgmental, catty, we women can be really catty, gossiping. I mean, be careful. If you're willing to gossip about somebody else, don't you think the same thing is being done about you? Yeah, we've got to be really careful. Do unto others what you would have them do unto you. And if you're even sending negative energy out to somebody and they decide, you know what, I'm going to block that, I don't accept that. Well, that energy's got to go somewhere. You're right there. That energy is going to come right back to you. And even our forgiving ourselves for things is so important. And really taking all of that to God and really forgiving yourself. Don't hold on to your own shame and guilt. It is done. If you have repented, if you are changed, and you've got to give other people the opportunity to do that. We have got to stay in our own lanes. We're out there going, well, and wagging our finger. And boy, oh boy, um, this was a, this was, I was doing this a lot in my immature Christian days, and even in some of my relationships. I was trying so hard to be good and do right and have all the evidence on the outside. And I was really looking at some people going, well, and if you did this and that and blah, 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 blah. I was really, I was being really judgmental, especially with people that I claimed to love. And I really wanted the best for them. Like it was kind of coming from a pure place, like I can just see what you're doing wrong. And meanwhile, I was a hot mess over here. And all that energy that I was spending on judging was energy I could have been taking inward and doing the work that I needed to do. And that's what a lot of us are doing when we judge. We are, we're wasting a lot of precious energy and a lot of our judgment. And I know when I've been judged before, and it causes me to dig my heels in more. So what makes me think that somebody's going to receive what I have, my wisdom, any better? And I'm actually causing the opposite of what I want. And we have to be, and social media, oh my gosh, we live in an age now where there is so much energy flying around, and people need to be reminded of this golden rule. I'm going to turn the camera around real quick and just show you. Look, sunrise together. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. I'm going to zoom in on that. Oh, it's hard to do that on Facebook, these lives. Oh well. These verses really speak for themselves. The Beatitudes, and then these teachings on the heart of the matter, or the essence of the law, and what it really means. Teaching about divorce, vows, anger, revenge, love your enemies. That was one. Here's just a personal example from my family of origin. My father was big on the loving your enemy and revenge, like turning the other cheek. But inside the home, he was one of the angriest people I knew. Hence, some of why I turned from the church and from God and religion as a young adult, because I was seeing him say and do a lot of things out there. He was even a minister in a church, in a few churches. So I grew up in the church, but not. It was a shit show at home. I'm just going to say it. There was alcoholism, verbal, emotional abuse. He was an angry person, even, and claimed to love God. And that was hard to reconcile for me. And he probably had mental health issues that he was self-medicating with alcohol. I've had to do a lot of forgiveness work in this area. And try to even heal my relationship with him. He's gone now, so I can't. But he was a prideful and angry and confused person who really tried to love God. I think he wanted to love God, wanted to understand, but he really had a hard time actually applying it where it mattered most, at home. So he was like our Jekyll and Hyde. A lot of alcoholics are. Um, and he and choosing to self-medicate with alcohol versus being humble enough to go seek attention, the medical attention that he needed. So there was a lot of depression. So, but not understanding that as a young person, and then all of the other ways he tried to also deal with it, not with just alcohol, but constantly moving. Oh, well, if I go here, it'll be better. But wherever you go, there you are. That is another way, actually, to put the golden rule, I think. Wherever you go, there you are. Wherever your words go, wherever your energy goes, there you are. And you're taking it all with you. You send it out into the world, and you take it with you. So it really has to come from a place of genuine, and to genuinely love people, even when they're being knuckleheads, or when you don't agree, or you've got God's word and you've got to love people anyway. That's hard. This is why it is not only a narrow gate, but a difficult road. And I don't think I know any other way than staying connected to the word and continuing to remind myself of these truths, and doing an internal cleaning of house so that fear moves out. Perfect love casts out fear. And a lot of what's at the root of a lot of this behavior, fear, 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 fear. When you get to the root of the matter, anger is an expression of fear. A lot of the bad behavior, gossiping, you can probably all trace it back to fear. And love, even when we love people like spouses and children, a lot of times, especially, we notice that it's conditional. People feel conditionally loved. We have to perform for each other. When really God is asking us, if each person just took care of their own house, kept their house clean, took care of their internal world, we wouldn't have too many problems out in the world. But fear is at the heart of most people. That survival brain that's always scanning and looking for potential problems, reading expressions on people. Oh, I'm trying to reconnect. Fear. I'm thinking that's the heart of the matter of all of this. And when you have perfect love, which can only come from God, then you can cast out the fear. But it's a process, and it's like peeling those layers of an onion. You get through one layer, and then you realize that you're safe and okay, and then you go through another layer. That's how most of us have to do it, because there's a lot there, and then there's a lot that was formed in our childhoods that our brains had to try to make sense of. This is not easy work to do, by the way. Anyway, I'm going to end it there because I do have to go wake up my young adult daughter to go become even more adultish on her way to adulthood and independence and out in the world. Exciting times. All right. Have a great Monday, or whatever day of the week it is for you. If you want to keep up with me and read what I'm reading, I read Matthew chapters 1 through 7 today, and most of my discussion or my reflection was on Matthew chapter 7. All right, rise and shine. It's going to be a beautiful day.